Hey, what's up, guys? I'm RoberOnocle, as you better know me, Rob, and I'm here with my dad. Hey, Dad.
Hey, son.
And we are once again talking about a. excuse me. We are once again talking about a game we both really love. It's Borderlands 2. We talked about it last time. Actually, we talked about it for a very long time. I was a bit surprised, actually, at how long we talked about it. We talked about it for a decent amount of time, but it's an open world RPG game, and there is a lot of things to say about it. Like there is a ton of things to say about that game. So I figure, hey, why not do another one? And I have even more questions this time, so I'm trying to shoot for an hour. We might go a little over, but I'm trying to shoot for an hour, if anything. So I suppose we could start with this first question over here. And our first question is: excluding raid bosses like Pyropeat the Invincible, Hyperius the Invincible, etc., what boss do you find to be the most unfair? And as usual with all the podcasts I do, we will start with the guest answer first. So, Dad, what boss do you feel is the most unfair excluding raid bosses?
Um, well, I would say one of the hardest bosses, the non-raid bosses.
Right,
Well, we'll just call them the Bad Saurus.
right, for the sake of keeping appropriate language. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, the in case you guys are not quite sure what he's saying, it's the final boss of the Mystoric's campaign of Carnage, the DLC campaign. It's the final boss of that one.
Yeah, that one to me was he's just way too overpowered. Um, Hard to dodge his attacks. And you don't really have a lot of time to revive your player. That's one of those times where, just referencing our last podcast, we were talking about the oxygen revive, I believe,
Yeah, we
in the
did.
pre-sequel, and excuse me, that would be one of those instances where you need that because the bad Saurus is just a little too overpowered for you to not have any kind of cover, shields, or whatever
Right.
to shield you from his attacks. So yeah, I would have to say that would be probably the hardest one to me.
Okay, yeah, I get you. And actually, I do kind of have to agree with that one too. That boss is wow. I mean, I get that they were trying to get the point across that Piston is a cheater, but I'm like, man, this fight is just not fun. And I feel it's kind of the same way too with the fight before that one, the blimp fight. You know, the blimp fight where you have to go kill Flyboy, but instead it's Piston, and he has
Absolutely,
that blimp
yes.
flying around. That one is just unnecessarily hard too because he keeps. And granted, you can shoot the rockets out of the sky, but it seems like he just attacks way too fast. Especially if you're playing by yourself, like he just attacks way too fast for you. It just feels like it's too much going on, and the explosion has that high radius and all that. The blast radius is huge, so it just feels like you just get smashed into the ground, and there's just nothing you can do about it. And then it just gets even worse in Ultimate Vault Hunter mode. And speaking of Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, I think another boss that is really unfair, at least in Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, is the Leviathan from the Captain Scarlet DLC, the Pirate DLC.
Right. Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I mean it's just like it's not so much that because I understand in Ultimate Vault Hunter mode they're supposed to have way more health, but I'm like, wow, the sandworms they deal so much damage, and the Leviathan can just drop you so quickly, and it's like it's ridiculous. And the same thing with the Leviathan too. There's a lot to keep track of, so to get dropped really fast, and you're like, wait, what? Like it gets old. And again, like you said about the oxygen revive, that's where that would just really, really come in handy.
Yeah, I have to agree with that one. Yeah, and I actually kind of forgot about the blimp because I know Flyboy himself, yeah, whatever. But yeah, that
Yeah,
blimp is just ridiculous. So yeah, I have to agree with you. If I think the bad source is the first to me,
I
and
agree with you on that one. Actually, I think it's worse.
yeah, but the blimp is if it's not neck and neck, it's just a half step below it because that blimp can be quite the pain in the neck.
Yeah, yeah, I really hate the blimp. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a bit of a shorter question, but we can go to our next question. So, speaking of bosses, which boss fight do you find to be just disappointing? Mine is Dr. Nakayama because we could anybody who has played Sir Hammerlock's Big Game Hunt, in case you don't know, the final boss of that campaign is Dr. Nakayama, but he is a huge joke. Like I won't really go I don't really want to spoil it really, but if you just play, I mean, if you played it, you know exactly what I mean. That boss is just so disappointing. But Dad, which boss do you find to just be like really disappointing?
Um, Believe it or not, I had to go with Motor Mama. Uh, I think I think she was the most disappointing. um, and the reason being is she really doesn't drop anything good. It's like it's all this build up to get to her, and then when you finally beat her, it's just like, okay, what was the point of that? So, yeah, she would have to be my most disappointing. Um, she's challenging enough because she's riding around on that motorcycle, and along with her, we'll just say her cronies, and that's what makes her challenging. But
And the second
yeah,
phase
to
with the
me,
rocket launcher too, because like she
yeah,
gets off and she starts firing those really fast rockets that can drop really fast.
yeah. But our last playthrough with her, uh, it was actually kind of effortless, but
Our
I
past
think
few
just because,
playthroughs actually.
yeah, yeah. So Um, I think it's just disappointing because you would think after beating her that you would get something, some kind of a chest to open up, maybe a halfway decent weapon or shield or something. And it's
Right.
just like, mm, okay, now that you did that, next, and that's it. It's just like, what? Um,
Right.
and and I would have to put like maybe under Motor Mama, I'd probably have to throw Flyboy in with that
Oh, yeah, yeah.
one.
Especially since he's actually a character that has a lot of build up too, because he's got that whole like scrapyard, all those really powerful robots that work for him, all those buzzards, and then you finally get to him, and then Piston defeats him with a mere rocket. So you know, you're like,
Right,
oh, okay, uh,
right.
yeah, all right,
Yeah, I have to agree. After you get to Flyboy, like you said, with that build up and then with all the characters in his junkyard, um, it's like you should have that Price is Right loser music, playing after you get to him.
yeah,
That's about what you feel like man, what all of that for just this? Like,
exactly.
yeah. So yeah, those would be my two, I think. Out of everyone.
Yeah, I can definitely see where you're going with that. My personal one I found to be just really disappointing. Although he can drop legendaries and he can drop his own personal gun, I felt that what is his name? Is it Captain Flint? Right, the really
Oh
the
yeah.
fattish guy. Like
Right.
because
Yeah.
because he's got like because it's kind of like it's similar to the Motor Mama situation. Although to be honest, Motor Mama is probably more disappointing than Captain Flint is. But just like Captain Flint, because he's got like this huge gang of people, like they pretty much run like that. What is it? Southern. They pretty much run Southern Shelf. They just own that like Arctic part of Pandora and everything. He's got this huge gang all over the place that's running the place. And so you figure you run up to this guy, he's gonna be a pretty tough dude, but no, not really. I mean, he's really, really slow,
Right.
slower than Motor Mama for some reason. I don't know why he is much slower than her. I mean, he does like he sprints like what 2 times during the fight. Like he doesn't move very fast like the entire time, and I don't like that. And I swear, sometimes I swear you can just kind of kill him before he even gets to you. Sometimes like. If he gets close, if he hurts you, you got close to him. That's what I feel like with that fight.
Yeah. Maybe he's so slow because when he jumps down, maybe he twists his ankle or something. I don't know.
I mean,
All that weight
that
coming down.
might yeah, that might be a decent argument because I don't know why. It's just like, man, it just felt like the boss fight could have been a lot more, especially since he's a dude that can set himself on fire at will. You think he'd do
Right.
more than that? Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't argue with that one. Yeah. He's well, it's like you said it with some of these bosses. It's just a build up, and with his, it's not a big build up. You hear a little conversation between him and Claptrap, and you're thinking, man, okay, whatever. It
Right.
might be something decent, but when you get to him, the little door opens, or he's sitting on the throne, or whatever that is, and
Right.
then all of a sudden he just he has to jump up in the air and land, and it's kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was expecting more, but I guess not.
Right. Yeah. I just didn't like, and he's the second. Well, he's like, well, technically after Boom, he technically would be the third boss in the game because Boom and Boom are two different bosses working together. But yeah, I think, yeah. Well, we'll call him a second boss though, because yeah, they still kind of share the same boss thing. But yeah, I didn't really care for Captain Flint. And another one, surprisingly, one I find that's really disappointing too, probably even more disappointing than Captain Flint, is the Colin Zafford and Bridget Hodunk from the Mad Moxie's Wedding Day Massacre, that DLC. I mean, it's a good DLC because it drops some good stuff there, but like it seems like you almost have a slightly higher chance to not get something good off of the boss fight there. And especially just like they make you go through so much because that boss fight, like if you do it wrong, it gets harder and harder and harder. And then, when you kill them and like they just drop nothing, I'm like, what? I mean, at most they'll drop some fish bait, so you can, get those threshers out of the water for that like little mini side quest thing. But like they just have a habit of not dropping anything good, and that just kind of bugs me.
Yeah, I can. As we discuss it, and we look back at these different bosses. It's actually a lot of letdowns with these guys. I mean, yeah, they're challenging enough, but sometimes, like I think the disappointment comes with the lack of reward. So it's either that the bosses are too easy, and
right.
There was a big build up and a lot of hype to get to them, and then you're disappointed, or they're extremely hard, but then they don't give you anything. So, like you said with Mad Moxie's Wedding Day Massacre, those two, it's just like, okay, with all that we had to go through to beat these guys,
yeah,
I need to get a legendary, a Etech, or even a decent shield or something,
right?
Or a ton of iridium.
Yeah, since it's super easy to fail.
Yeah.
And eventually,
you almost need two people.
Yeah. And let me check. Wolfie Groovy is saying something. Hey, Rob, it says I'm suppressed. I want to know if that was intent. Oh, Wolfie Groovy just had a question about the whole being suppressed thing. Oh, we just we suppress people because we don't want anybody just coming in and saying something. I have nothing against anybody. Like if you come in there and say you're suppressed, I don't have an issue with you. There is no problem whatsoever. It's just I make sure so nobody can just come in and just start saying things. But you're fine. It just means you're a listener. That's pretty much all that means. There is no problems between me and you. You are fine. Just let you know. So he said okay, thanks. Okay. But okay, so we can go on to our next question because that's pretty much all our thoughts on that one. What boss is the most fun to farm?
Okay, for this one, I couldn't limit it to just one.
Okay.
But, so I would say one of the best ones to farm on here would be Tender Snowflake, because you're usually, and it's because of the train, you're almost guaranteed to find either an Etech or, excuse me, if you're farming for cash, you can always find some things that are worth a good price. So if nothing else, if you don't find a gun or shield or a mod that you want, you can always farm the stuff and make a lot of money. So I would say Tender Snowflake is good. The Handsome Sorcerer is good because we found a couple legendaries off of him. And you always get a ton of iridium, so Handsome Sorcerer is not a bad one. And maybe even I would have to add Warrior to that as well.
Oh, Warrior. So those are all just like ones you really enjoy to farm.
Yeah. So I fought Warrior a second time, and I think I was able to find another legendary shield off of him. But if nothing else, you can always get a ton of iridium off of them. So with Tender Snowflake, you're almost guaranteed to get the E-Techs, within at least a couple times. And then, you're going to get some iridium.
Right.
I think Warrior is good for giving you iridium and then a few good guns. And then just the Handsome Sorcerer is very good for, coming up on iridium and also a legendary either gun or shield or something along that line.
Yeah, that boss has a very good, well, I don't know if it's good really for him, but he's got a good habit of dropping a legendary. That's what I like about the Handsome Sorcerer. And just a answer from Groovy Groovy right here in the live comments section or the live combos section. He just said, "I think Winston. I think you mean Wilhelm. Is there a Winston? I don't think there's a Winston, but I think Wilhelm. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah,
a Wilhelm.
yeah. He meant Wilhelm. Okay, yeah. So I think I'm just gonna sort of paraphrase this a bit. I think Wilhelm is a pretty underwhelming boss after all the build up. You think it'd be pretty hard, yet it's not. Actually, I can agree with him on that. Just getting back to our previous question for the underwhelming boss, but yeah, I can actually agree with that. Wilhelm was pretty underwhelming. Since they said like you can't handle Wilhelm, go back, soldier. Like they make him seem like he's gonna be a crazy hard boss, but he's really not. Just get a corrosive gun and he's done for. But yeah.
Yeah, no argument there.
Yeah, and I think the best boss to farm is the guy with the infinity pistol. Oh, the Doc. Oh, Doc Mercy. That's the doctor guy with the Etech gun.
Okay.
That purple Etech gun. I know we haven't fought him in a while, but oh yeah, he dropped that. We haven't found it, but there's a legendary gun called the Infinity Pistol. It's pretty much what it sounds like. It's a pistol that just never runs out of ammo. So that's his legendary stat, which that's pretty cool. So yeah. And Woofy Groovy is typing something else. We'll just see what he has to say, and then we'll get back to our previous question about the farming. Oh, while I'm waiting on him, I can just get on my next part. So about the farming, if I had to center it down, because I do agree that those are all pretty good bosses to farm, but I'm gonna center it down to one. I actually think I like farming the handsome sorcerer the most, actually.
Okay.
Because I just, I'm a legendary junkie, and he has a good habit of dropping legendaries, so like it's a bit addicting to like farm him actually. Because you saw one time I found 2 legendary sniper rifles, one for you to have and one for me to have. I'm like, yes, and then he dropped like a legendary fire shotgun. I forgot that thing is called, but it's the one that says like let's ping everyone at once. That is that black shotgun. That one's really good. I just really like that, and I just like his fire rate. He always tends to drop something really good too. Didn't he drop a shield one time too, like a really good shield?
I believe so, because I think I want to say we found one shield with him, and then one with Warrior, I believe.
Yeah, because I think the handsome sorcerer, he dropped that one that shot little corrosive balls. And then the Warrior dropped another one just like that one. So yeah, those were really cool. So so on to our next question. Which enemy do you enjoy to fight the most, and is there an enemy you will always avoid? Like you just like, nope, don't want to fight him.
Are we talking bosses or just? Well, I guess that would have to be. Are we talking mainly bosses or people that we encounter along the way?
Just people we encounter along the way.
Okay, because I was leaning on the bosses as who I like to fight the most.
I mean, you could go with those two if you want, and then a boss like you just like I don't want to mess with him.
Okay, so who I enjoy fighting the most is I would have to say Handsome Jack, but there's a reason for it. There's why he makes probably the top of my list.
Oh man.
And it's only because of Salvador, if you remember.
Oh yeah, I think I know where this is going.
So when we first played with Salvador, when I had Salvador as my character.
Yeah, our first playthrough.
Our first playthrough, yeah. It was very fulfilling to knock his mask off with the super punch, man. So that was my favorite. But that was more or less a moment as opposed to, him being my favorite boss. But that is what put him at the top of my list as the best guy to fight.
Right.
Also, if I had to avoid a couple enemies, of course, Pyro Pete, the Invincible.
Right, that boss.
Yeah, because he's just ridiculous, especially with those robots shielding him and all that.
Oh, that's Hyperius. That's the robot.
Oh, Hyperius. Yeah, not Pyro. Hyperius. Yeah, that one. But Pyro P's still a pain in the neck too.
Yeah.
But if I had to just pick one to avoid, it would be Bad Source. I mean, I know we keep saying it, but Bad Source is just
He's a
he's
terrible
just
boss.
yeah,
He's
he's just
horrible.
ridiculously overpowered, and I think another person that makes my I don't really care for him so much list is the dwarves.
The oh, that dwarf boss fight.
Yeah, it's even just along the way when we're doing the DLC. I mean, we're doing the mission to find. I think it's those letters for Claptrap or whatever,
Yeah,
and
that's
we're
the
going
one.
through those mines. And yeah, those dwarves they're just annoying because they're stronger than what they should be.
Yeah.
So it's just like weird. It's like what in the world?
Like you mean
Uh,
just like both the boss fight and the enemies are just ones you just kind of don't feel like being like putting up with?
well, really the enemies. I mean, I guess I couldn't say I just would totally avoid them, but they just annoy me more than anything.
Oh, so they're ones that
Um,
you would be more likely to avoid, pretty much.
yeah, just because they are annoying, and
Yeah.
they actually down you pretty quick, and it's kind of like ridiculously fast. So
Hearing how's the weather down here for like the fifth time gets kind of old. So, you know.
yeah, right. Yeah.
But yeah, I get
So
you. So what about an enemy you enjoy fighting, or is it just,
um, let me see. Well, since the handsome Jack one really doesn't count as an enjoyable fight, um, I would probably have to go with the handsome sorcerer only because of the farming aspect of it.
oh, and it
Um,
really grows on you?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That I would have. Yeah, he would have to make the list still, um, just because man, he drops some good stuff, and it's kind of fulfilling to watch him just lose. You get those three different phases of him, but to
Yeah, it's
you know,
satisfying and it's fun.
yeah, it's very, very, very fulfilling. So I guess I'd have to still stick with the handsome sorcerer. But as far as knocking his mask off, that's after you fight warrior. So
Oh yeah, that's so
it's more
that always makes it for you pretty much.
yeah, yeah. So that's my favorite moment. I had to kind of slide that one in there, but
Oh yeah, we don't
the
have to play
handsome
exactly
sorcerer.
by the rules. It's just a podcast about us just having fun pretty much. So,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So how about with you?
Okay, so for me the enemy I enjoy to fight the most, well, saying the psychos is kind of cheating because I mean, like, come on now. Cuz I mean, they're the psychos, but if I had to pick an enemy I enjoy fighting the most, like I was just like, "Oh yeah, I get to kick your butt again." It would probably have to be what is it? I actually do enjoy fighting the pirates. Actually, because
Okay,
they're varied in how they attack you. Because you have like
okay,
the buccaneers and then like the little like pirate dudes. I mean, it's more of like a generalized answer, but I just kind of like fighting the pirates in general because they're just an interesting bunch of things to fight. Minus the ninja pirates, I hate how they go invisible and you just can't touch them at all. That's stupid. But
right, right.
yeah, but they are most for the most part they're pretty fun though. Like even the boss fights there are just kind of fun. I just enjoy fighting those guys. They are just like a fun bunch of people to fight.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can't argue that. Minus the disappearing pirates. Yeah.
Yeah, I really really don't like those guys. But if I had to, but if I had to pick an enemy, I would always avoid. Now, rabbit stalkers and rabbit skags came pretty close, but I had to put it down with, and this is the pirates again, the cursed pirate. I
Oh
do
yeah.
not like that enemy. I hate that enemy because like because he deals insane damage, and like once he gets you down, I mean, unless you get super lucky, that's it. Like you are not recovering from that. You just kind of won't because every time he hits you, he just sucks back so much health. He's like the handsome sorcerer's daughter, but like on steroids, like and really and really really fast. And I really don't like the cursed pirate because of that, because he just feels so dang unfair, and I don't like him. He's annoying. And I don't mean to like get all really worked up or anything, but that I don't like that enemy. Like that's the one of the bosses where I'll just go, oh no, and I instantly turn the other way, cause like I don't want to go through that. I don't want to lose money, although money's not that big of a deal to us, to be honest. But I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. That enemy is just so unfair, and it just feels so poorly balanced. But I guess I was trying to go down the route for enemies as in bosses, like like a boss I'll always look forward to fighting. If I had to pick one, it'd probably actually be Mr. Tender Snowflake, just for that train part. I know we're kind of going in circles, but I kind of don't care. But
Right.
I like the Mr. Tender Snowflake fight, just because I always look forward to that train coming by and just like spilling loot on us. Even if you're starting off and you don't have much, that's a good one to start with, because it just might not be too good to start. It might actually be good to start at the end of the main game, but still, I love getting all that good stuff. It is
I can't argue with that.
It is just so satisfying to get it. It's just so satisfying to get that at the end, because the boss payoff is fun. But I guess we're to get a little more specific, and bosses a boss that's just fun to fight. I actually enjoy fighting the bunker, believe it or not, because like he flies around. I mean, it's a bit annoying when he flies away and all that, but when he gets close, he's strong, but he's a big target. So it's like it feels fair on both sides, because although he can he deals high damage, he has these obvious weak points and everything. So it's you just running around in the field, dodging robots and everything and shooting at his weak spots, and he flies around and charges his. It's just a really exciting fight. I love it. It's a really good fight for the main game. I really enjoy that fight. And when the Leviathan is not on Ultimate Boss Hunter mode, I enjoy fighting the Leviathan too.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Our last playthrough with the Leviathan was actually really it was surprisingly easy.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it was still challenging, but the speed in which we beat him, yeah, that was it was actually surprising, just knowing how tough the Leviathan can be.
Yeah.
And the Leviathan actually, and just to backtrack just a bit, when we were talking about our favorite boss to farm. Well, and I don't know if you can just keep farming the Leviathan, but
you can farm the area though. Like you could just like leave and come back, and you have some new chests there, so you can farm the area.
Yeah, and again, that's one of those areas where you can get a lot of loot, or you can possibly stumble across some really good guns or shields or things of that nature.
Okay.
There is one thing I was going to mention too. We talked about the enemy that we would avoid, and I'm surprised neither one of us mentioned it at first, and that is the Duke of Orc.
Yeah, how did we skip that? How did we skip that? Or as we call him, Dookie, because we just don't take him serious. But yeah, how did we skip that? Yeah, that is.
And I even touched in the area, like on Claptrap's mission, and like that's the one guy that I should have thought of if nobody else. It's like
right.
this guy is a pain in the neck. So
yeah, because he levels himself up in a matter of 30 seconds, he levels himself up like 4 times. I'm like, why? Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
I would still say I'd avoid the Cursed Pirates first, because they're fast and they're annoying. The Duke of Orc is actually quite slow, excluding his stupidly far jump. The one where he prepares himself like a mile away and just jumps instantly to your location. I'm like, what the heck? But aside from that, he's actually, I still get it though. You don't want to mess with that guy. But yeah, I would rank the Cursed Pirate a little above him. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. He is a insane enemy. He should be a boss on his own. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I could easily see that. It looks like you have a quick question too in your on your board.
Okay, let me check that out. Just a quick question: what is your favorite DLC, including the character ones? My personal favorite is Torg's Campaign of Carnage, because explosions. Actually, yeah, if you're a big fan of Torg weapons, that campaign is paradise. Yeah, so I'm sorry to get to that question a little late, but yeah, I do get why you do like that one. As for my personal favorite campaign, it's probably because I'm a greedy piece of crap, but I love Tiny Tina's DLC. I hate the character, but her DLC is really dang good, because it gives you all those double roll chests and it drops good stuff. That's why I love that DLC so much. And oh crap, I skipped the whole guest thing first. I'm sorry, Dad. What is your favorite DLC?
Oh, no, that's cool, son. Yeah, I might have to border on either Tiny Tina or well, I like the Hammerlock campaign too.
You like the end of it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The
'Cause,
journey there kind of sucks, but they do give you some pretty good rewards at the end.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's kind of it's almost a lopsided answer with that one because I like the reward of it, but the campaign itself is just I could do without it. So
Yeah, but like that whole moment, those moments of just makes it worth it for like, because I mean the last time we got there, we got some really really good stuff there.
yeah, absolutely.
We really did. I was like, oh, I love this.
Yeah, you got to have your backpack ready when you go there.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be like really, you're gonna be like the most depressed person on the planet if your backpack is nearly full. So
Right, right.
yeah, so that's our quick answer to your question, Movie Groovy. Sorry I got to that a little late, but there's your answer. So I think we've pretty much got past the avoid thing, you know, Duke of War, cursed pirate, you know, all that good stuff. The dwarves, you know, all that good stuff. Wait a minute, no, never mind. I won't worry about it. So we can go to our next question. Which Etech type is your least favorite?
Ooh, and that was a toughie, but I think I stumbled across an electric E-Tech pistol once.
Uh huh.
Um, I can't remember if it was the E-Tech or if it was the electric or if it was slag, but it turned out to be like just a really slow pistol, and you get excited like, ooh, yay, it's E-Tech, and then like it was doing nothing to the enemies, and I'm like, man, this is terrible.
So you don't like Etech pistols?
Yeah, they would be my least favorite. But you know what? I can't totally say that because I think I found a couple good ones. But that particular one, I think it was an electric pistol.
Was it
And
was it Bandit? Bandit E-Techs actually kind of tend to, well, Bandit E-Tech pistols anyway. They tend to suck. I'm gonna be honest. They kind of suck.
yeah, I couldn't remember which brand it was, but I probably sold it real quick, knowing you.
I would figure.
But, but yeah, that would have been the one as far as my least favorite. And I tend not to use pistols anyway, not
Right.
too much.
Right.
So I'd have to roll with that one.
Okay, so pistols. Okay, so my least favorite one, this is gonna be a shocker because I love them to death, but I don't care for E-Tech shotguns that much. Like,
Wow.
I love if in any video game, if you got a shotgun in it, the chances are it's gonna be my favorite weapon in the game. I know that's a little biased to say, but I just love shotguns. The whole get close, bam thing. But the thing with the Etech shotguns is that I love their whole like I love the fire ones. They had the napalm launcher. I'm not saying they aren't good, but they're just the ones I would avoid the most.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
so good, but it's just kind of like I just don't really care for like the whole thing. Whereas like it goes from like being like a normal shotgun like the other types to just going like it just turns into like sort of like a little like grenade launcher ish thing. And I mean the ones with the slag, it's good if you want to like slag an enemy really quick, but like I just like I kind of rather just have the classic bam, to the shells fly out, not this little napalm or acid balls, that just come flying out of it. I'm like
Right.
I just kind of like if they had an E-Tech shotgun that just had like shoot like a bunch of lasers out at once, I'm like, oh, that would really make my day. But sadly, there is no variant of E-Tech shotguns that does that, so I'm stuck with this. And actually, I don't know if you really know that, but like when we play the game together, I actually don't use E-Tech shotguns that much. If you have paid attention to me, I just don't use it a lot, and it saddens me.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because as you mentioned it, I'm like, yeah, he doesn't, but you'll use a pistol before I will. But I will. I was going to ask this to you. What about the sword explosion? Because that is an E-Tech.
Oh, okay? Yeah, that would be the exception. The sword explosion is the Yeah, that's an Etech shotgun. That is actually a super good Etech shotgun. That I think that even though it isn't the how normal shotguns are, that one is really good because it deals so much damage. And you know what? It still somewhat acts like a shotgun too. I mean, you shoot like 3 clusters of like acid balls, slag balls, fireballs, whatever you want to be. But like what I like about the sword explosion, you shoot that one sword, you land the shot, more swords pop out. Like it spreads, like it feels very shotgunny, but it feels E-techy at the same time. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna let you go.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I was just gonna say it's like 3 swords or something like that at once. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just piggybacking on your point. Yeah, it gives you the shotgun effect with probably just an insane amount of damage.
Yeah, and it's the
and
only. Yeah. And like it's weird too. It's the only explosive E-Tech gun in the game. Like it's the only E-Tech where you'll see an explosion type, which makes it super unique, which I like it. But yeah, that would have to be the one exception to my E-Tech rule of like I hate E-Tech shotguns. But yeah, that is a very good E-Tech shotgun. I can't even argue against that one. That one is really good. And I guess since we're here, we might as well just mention our favorites too. I don't know why I didn't put that there. But what's your favorite E-Tech? Just
Okay. I think just off the top of my head, the 2 that come to mind, I mentioned the sword explosion. That gun is just awesome.
right.
I've even used that over some legendary guns, which is, we're both big on the legendaries, but
Oh yeah,
that sword explosion is, I mean, it covers level after level after level. So even as you level up, it's still a very effective gun. So that one would have to be probably my, I would say that would probably be my favorite. That one, and then I think it's the TDR, I believe, rocket launcher that I found.
Oh, that
That,
one.
yeah, was surprisingly amazing for it to have such a small magazine. I mean, it consumes 2 ammo per shot,
Yeah.
and it's only 2 bullets, if you will, in the rocket launcher itself.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can use the reload as a shot also still gives you, a little bit more. So
Yeah.
it gives you 2 true shots instead of just 1 with the ammo consumption.
Yeah, I get you. Especially with that first shot too, because that the E-Tech rocket launcher is pretty much like, hey, what if I just killed everybody at once? Like that's what
Right.
every time you use it, I just gotta think of like, hey, what would happen if I just killed everybody in this arena at once? Like, I can actually see why you say that. That is quite good, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And as for me and my personal favorite E-Tech guns, I would probably have to go with probably E-Tech pistols or E-Tech submachine guns, the more lighter kind. I like the E-Tech submachine guns because they just tend to be pretty plentiful and they shoot fast. So like I have that fire E-Tech, and that's it's practically a flamethrower. Like it just shoots out all those like fireballs really fast. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And as for pistols, I just like it in a sense that like they're high damage and you can just like shoot the shots and like have them like sort of like stay on an enemy, and then you can run away and well, granted, I mean, I guess there's not much point to it to just like shooting and running away, but it's just high damage where you can just shoot a few shots and then run off and hide and recover a bit, and you can let the explosions from the E-Tech pistol shots just do the rest, because those deal higher damage than just the shots sticking to them. Actually, I don't think they do anything when they stick to them, but I especially like E-Tech fire pistols because they're pretty much just flare guns. I like them. It's just poosh, you shoot them on them and then it just like sets their body aflames. I like that.
Yeah, that is cool. And I have to say that I did actually use the Fire E-Tech pistol for a while, which was kind of out of my character. But yeah, it actually did. The way it ignited the enemies was actually really good. So I do have to give that some credit. But
yeah, E-Tech fire pistols were insane, like with their power.
Yeah. Hey, it looks like you got another quick question from Wooby Groovy.
Okay, let's see it. Another quick question: what is your least favorite character? I think we actually covered this in a previous podcast, but Me and my dad both had different answers, but for my personal least favorite character, I could not stand Tiny Tina because if you don't know, I'm a pretty proper speaking guy, and and everything. And I don't really have something much against like minor vernacular English, but like when you really stem really deep into that vernacular English, I'm like, and I don't mean to use this word because it's a bit overused in the internet, but you make me cringe a bit, like, just, can you speak a little normally, please? And then like she forces it. I cannot stand that. Cause like you can listen to it, I'm like. And apparently and actually I've seen her too. Ashley Birch, that's the person who voices Tiny Tina. That's how she normally talks. Actually, well, not as try hard as Tiny Tina does, but like that's kind of how she talks. I'm just like, ugh, stop, you know. But that's how I am about it. But Dad, so Wolverine asks, what is your least favorite character?
Well, one that'll always remain at the top of my list has to be Claptrap. I can't stand him. He's pointless. He adds no benefit to the game whatsoever, except to annoy everybody. So,
right,
yeah, he'll always remain high on the top of my list.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, the pre-sequel showed that he was useful for a temporary amount of time, but yeah, after 2, I'm like, why are you here? I mean, well,
Right.
okay, you had to use him to like infiltrate like the Hyperion thing, but
Couldn't they have just walked around those gates, like a couple of them?
Yeah, they have helicopters. Like, they couldn't just have us board on them. Yeah.
So,
Hey, they
he would have to be the top of my list, definitely.
Yeah, I can see that. So yeah, so that's just to answer your question, movie. Yeah, so now you know, you have been enlightened. So for our next question, which legendary gun did you find to be the most satisfying? Like, out of all the ones you have tried so far, and I think I might know your answer, but let's hear it still.
Yeah, well, the one at the top of my list, there are two that are close. They're really close, but the one at the top has to be the nuke launcher.
The Nukem. The Nukem.
Yeah. And I've seen a couple with a few different names, but I think it still kind of sort of does somewhat of the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that the nuke launcher is bar none the best. But the legendary electric sniper rifle is awesome because that one it actually serves as a sniper rifle, but you can also have assault rifle type feel to it.
Right, because it has those 3 bullets that shoot out, so you can get. It's like a semi-shotgun. That's what the sniper rifle pretty much is, and it's cool.
Yeah, and the one that I had, it actually has a good fire rate to it, so that's why I kind of gave it the more assault rifle kind of feel.
Yeah,
because I wasn't even aiming down with it, and it was just like doing the job. So.
Wasn't a subtitle like manslayer or man killer? Because I'm like, you pretty much can just go rogue and just start slaughtering everybody up close, because like it supports that kind of gameplay very much, actually.
Yeah, and my style of gameplay, so that fits me very well.
Yeah, so I can see how that could be your favorite one. And okay, so a favorite legendary of mine, I'm actually gonna have to probably do 2 also. It's the I forgot what the shotgun is called, but it's the legendary one. It's the one I mentioned a little earlier about the one that says let's ping everyone at once. I love how like it like you shoot one blast and it goes really fast, and then like once it hits something, it just goes nuts and just has shotgun pellets just scattering everywhere. I love it. It's satisfying to look at. And it bounces all around the air. Well, it doesn't bounce around that much, but it bounces it'll hit the target and then it'll bounce off of them and then bounce off the wall like once and then just go away. But it is just so fun to use. I love it. And I think even if you miss, I think it still has pellets shooting around on us. It's just an awesome shotgun. I love it. It is so satisfying. And then you can rack up damage, and then it consumes 1 shell per shot. I'm like, this shotgun is amazing. It comes with little penalties, and it shoots at a decent fire rate. And you combine that with Salvador's ability to shoot faster, and then like you're losing it. I love it. I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, no, I was gonna say surprisingly, I don't even think I've used the legendary shotgun. I don't think I've used one.
Hmm. Actually, that's weird because we have tried legendaries in like every category, but you've just never tried shotguns, huh?
Yeah, I think because even as we go through like the Torg, like vending machines where you can actually buy them, I don't think that I've ever bought one. I mean, maybe I have, but if I did, it was probably early on, and but I don't recall ever having one.
Honestly, Tor does
Kind of
sell
weird.
legendary shotguns too. He does. Actually, no, he just casually sells legendaries. What am I talking about? And we have a comment here from Ruby Groovy. I really love the Torg rocket launchers, like the So basically, he likes the nuke launcher too. So Ruby Groovy's on your side, Dad. So he pretty much he
Right
likes
on.
he likes the nuke launchers too, and I can't blame him, to be honest. It's good.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
And I also like the Trespasser sniper because it doesn't do most damage, but being able to pass through shields is fair. I don't know if I've tried that one, but that sounds pretty good. A sniper rifle that where the bullets just go right through shields, like it just eats it up. Hey, that sounds good.
Right on.
So yeah, I can get behind that. But yeah, he's on your side with the nuke launcher. So hey, you gotta follow her, Dad. You gotta follow her.
Right. Right on.
So yeah, that's pretty much our take on the legendaries. So next question. And this is the question I thought that was just kind of insane, and it's just it's a fake scenario because they're not gonna do this, but this is just like in a matter of opinion. But what would you prefer? Etech drops to be thrice as plentiful, but legendaries no longer exist, or legendaries are thrice as effective but twice as hard to find, and they're already pretty dang hard to find.
Yeah. So I had to give this one some thought because it's really like wow, which way do I want the scales to tip? But I'd have to go with sticking with the legendaries
Hmm.
because if they came with triple the damage, even double the damage, I mean it'd just be unusually amazing, and they're already pretty amazing. So you know, with them being already hard to find, I just stick with that. So hey, when we stumble across it, it'll be just that much more satisfying. So as much as I like a lot of the E-Techs, I'd have to stick with finding my legendaries.
Right. Right. I was thinking about doing the E-Tech drops thing too, but I might actually have to go with you on the legendary thing also because I kind of like my legendaries. And to be honest, if that means they're more rare, that means we would just get if it's twice as hard to find, that just means we get twice as excited when we find one. So
Yeah, absolutely.
so I'm like, that would actually raise the excitement a bit. So I'm like, what, I might have to go with the legendary, especially too. Like I like that legendary shotgun that spreads all around. Like if it was twice as effective and it just shot like even more pellets around, I'm like, oh man, I would love that. I would really like that. And then your whole nuke launcher thing. I mean, if that thing is 3 times more powerful, it's just like, hey, watch me kill the heart. Watch me kill Hyperius in one shot. Boom, bam, and
Right.
he's just dead. So I actually can't blame you for that one.
Can you imagine doing the bar room bar brawl?
All I
with
did was
the
yeah, all I did was press R1 and we instantly finished the side quest.
right. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Like you don't even walk in there, you just shoot a nuke in there and you just win it instantly.
Right. He wouldn't even Torg wouldn't be able to finish giving his instructions. Just grab a beer and kick. Oh,
Bam!
right.
And it's just gone. You're like, oh,
Right.
whoops. But yeah, I'm at the side with you on the whole legendary thrice effective thing. I would have to go with that one too. I love E-Techs and they are super effective, but legendaries, the legendaries. So I'm at the side with you on that one. So okay, so I guess we can go into our next question regarding characters you've played as. What do you find to be the most useful skill within each character? And this is just within the characters we've tried ourselves. So we have to go, we haven't played. Neither of us have played as all characters. So you could just go off of the characters you've played as. Which character, like for each character, because I know yours was Salvador, Krieg, and this is Axton, and I can go to mine. But yeah, So
Okay, so I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna kind of repeat myself here, so you can go.
Okay, so with Axton, have to go with the maglock turret. That's one of mankind's greatest inventions, like since sliced bread. So um, it's very effective when we fight, like say Tender Flake or whatever. It's good because it I can put it out of reach of a lot of enemies. It also deals like awesome damage and everything. Um, and most enemies tend to focus on that rather than us. So, and not to mention it provides a shield for a brief period of time.
Yeah, like it just
So,
yeah,
mhm.
because with the whole like you could throw it on the wall thing. Like normally when you threw it down, they could be shooting at it, but they could still hit us. But if you throw it on the wall or in the ceiling, their attention just goes like in a totally different direction. So yeah,
Yeah, and I also noticed the handsome sorcerer tends to focus a lot on it, which is good. So,
yeah,
I would have to do that with Axton, and that's probably like as of right now, and I haven't finished building him up yet, but
right.
that's probably as of right now the one thing I have for him. Um, with Krieg, it's the Buzz Axe Rampage. That is just an amazing thing, uh, especially when you can keep getting it over and over again. And I forget exactly how it works, to where there have been times where I've gotten kills with it, and then like it seems like 2 seconds later he's fully charged up and ready to go again.
Right.
And then when it gives you like the instant health, like when you get the kill and all that, it's
Uh,
just amazing.
oh, what about when you turn into the big guy too? Like when your health gets low, and if you let it get low, and then you do it, and then your arm gets really big, and you just deal like even more damage.
Yeah, so yeah, that's another feature. He's probably, well, out of the three players, he kind of ranks up there with Salvador, um, because that Buzz Axe Rampage, and then like you said, when he grows big into like the Super Psycho or whatever,
Right.
um, that's just awesome, man. It's just awesome, and he's very hard to stop. Once you level him up like that. Salvador, oh man, he would probably be just about my number one. Him and Creed go neck and neck though,
Mm.
but with Salvador, I like that you can do the taunt and get health refill.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that one.
yeah, so that's amazing. The gun zerking is awesome, and the dual grenades, um, that's that's amazing too. I like that. And then of course the punch. You
The punch.
cannot get past the punch.
So is the punch like
So
your favorite move for Salvador?
um yeah, it's very satisfying. Um Handsome Jack. That's all I gotta say about the punch.
Handsome Jack.
Um yeah. So yeah, him and Krieg kind of go hand in hand with me. Because Krieg is like, he has that strength. Salvador has that strength. As you can see, I tend to gravitate towards those type of characters based off my gameplay. So yeah, though that would be like Salvador is probably the one that I had. I think him and Krieg I had about the same kind of weigh in on those two.
Yeah.
Axton is cool, but those two, for what I like to do, they let me do what I like to do.
They support extremely aggressive gameplay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which I can get that because if you're that kind of guy, then yeah, they're definitely the ones for you. Oh, okay. And Wooby Gooby said something like, "I love Krieg's ability, especially if you release the beast and restore full health." Oh yeah, so he's just like you. He really likes Krieg's, like getting that really big arm and everything. So Wooby Gooby's on your side for this one too. So yeah, so you guys are
Yes.
definitely on the same page.
We are building a great friendship through Borderlands 2. So yeah, it's amazing, man. The instant health thing with Krieg and also with Salvador, those are big things, that weigh heavily, for those two. And
Right.
then yeah, with my style of gameplay, like I have no problem being that guy that'll take most of the damage, go down, so that with your style of gameplay, you can do what you do.
Right.
So yeah, so those two guys, they're really good for what I like.
Something wrong?
No, are we good?
Okay, I thought you just cut out a bit. I just got a bit worried there for a second. But yeah. Okay, so I see what you're saying. So yeah, so you like it. You like the really like their aggressive style, the more aggressive skills, because you feel it helps out other people, and also it's just satisfying.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like you play with more of a strategy and so forth and so on. And so with the way that with your strategic gameplay, I don't mind being the decoy, if you will,
Right.
so you can set up and do what you do. And it works good. I don't mind being that guy. And so I don't mind taking one of the bruisers out there and or to go out there and do some damage.
You like smooth out my plans, which is cool. So
Yeah.
okay, that's pretty cool. So for me, my favorite skills amongst every character. So I first start off with Zero, and the class and Zero's a low tier character. I can kind of see why, but my favorite skill with him would probably have to be the one where he throws the kunais. I forgot what it's called because I haven't played as him in a while. But it's the one where he can just throw like a cluster of kunais and they deal different type of elemental damages. Because like you could eat up shields with it. You could like burn up enemies. Use acid, and like you could do it while invisible and it wouldn't reveal you. So you could just utterly destroy an enemy with those kunais while remaining invisible, and then you would mark them for death too. So you're helping out your teammates. So not only are you dealing insane damage to them, but their defense lowers greatly. So your other partners can go by and they're like, hey, they're helping us out a bit, and it helps when enemies turn invisible because you'll know where they'll be. I love tagging them like that. I think it's just a really really useful skill. For what is her name? Gage, the Necromancer. For her, it is a bit of a hard one, but I would probably have to say that the what is it? That one in her red tree, the one where Death Trap, where he spins around in a circle and just deals like a combo attack.
Oh yeah.
I love that move a lot because it deals so much damage, and like he tends to do it a lot, and he can adjust it too. Like if an enemy moves away, but then they come back, he can just keep spinning again. I'm like, see, that's a good move. I really like that for Death Trap. I just think that's really fun. And for Salvador, although I do really like the punch a lot, for Salvador, I think his skill where like when you hold down the buttons, like the longer you hold it down, the faster he shoots. I got addicted to that really quickly. Like I just love like the whole thing where like your guns are shooting slow and they're just getting faster and faster, and like it just really hypes you up to it. Especially with mini guns, because then they just go insane once they hit like their maximum speed. And you can turn even the slowest of guns into like a machine gun. Like I love it. And that to me is just really satisfying. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you gonna say
I
something?
can see that. No, I just said I can see that.
Okay, and we are approaching the hour mark, but we have one question left, thankfully. So we can end it off. And we don't have to hit exactly an hour. We can go a bit over. I don't really care. But okay, so we can end with this question. Which location, main game or DLC, does not matter, did you find to be the most satisfying? And which one did you find to be the least satisfying? Excluding areas clearly not designed for looting because, all those kind of suck. So,
Mhm. Well, to answer that one, uh, the most satisfying area would probably be well, the end of Hammerlock's DLC.
Hmm.
Just for the loot, that's awesome. But the Leviathan DLC, that one could kind of go up there with that one too.
Right.
So yeah, even though the mission was like terrible for Hammerlock, the
Yeah.
ending of it was well worth it. So that's why I kind of picked that one. As far as my least satisfying, um, that would probably be, believe it or not, Pyro Pete's bar. Because even though you can, loot for the Torg tokens,
Right.
you don't really get enough at one time. So it's kind of like, man, it's good if you got time to kill, and you're just trying to farm for the tokens. But other than that, man, you know. So that would probably be my least favorite.
Okay. Oh, and Movie Goofy also said here, like, if you get the Infinity with Salvador, it is the most fun thing. I gotta one day I gotta get that pistol and I gotta try that because I'm gonna bet you that is fun because like you just keep shooting. I'll have to try that one day. But yeah. Actually, thanks for bringing that to my mind. I'll have to consider getting that so I can try that out with Salvador because I didn't think about that. Thank you, Boovie. You contributed to the podcast. Good job. Real MVP. But okay, so yeah, we're hitting the hours here, so I'll quickly get on to my part. So which location I find to be the most satisfying? I might have to copy off of you a bit, Dad, because I kind of deeply agree with the whole Sir Hammerlock thing and the pirate one, because they both give you really good stuff at the end. Granted, like you said, I probably prefer the pirate one more because the pirate one is actually fun, but the Sir Hammerlock one, it gives you really good stuff. Like, wow. Like, you would almost expect the loot to be underwhelming, but it's not. They give you good stuff there. And I'm like, okay. That's cool. But, as for my least satisfying, again, I'm going to have to copy off of you, Dad. I'm sorry, but, yeah, Pyropede's bar. Especially if you want to get those legendaries. I understand. It's a legendary. You're not supposed to get it instantly, but wow. Even if you don't want to get a legendary, it just takes too long to get to that point where you can buy something, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just not. I mean, there are a few other places where you can get the Torque token. That's the easiest place I think to farm them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just takes far too long to actually get enough, just to buy something. And yeah, granted, it makes it satisfying when you finally earn up enough. But you got to hope that he's selling something that you want to.
Exactly. So, yeah. So, Movie Groovy, you were the only one here, but yeah, that's cool and all that. But yeah, guys. Oh, and PMP Fashionista, excuse me for that. I apologize. But yeah, so that is our thoughts on Borderlands 2, or the current question we had for this night. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I very much enjoyed that. Did you enjoy that? I figure you probably did, but
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I had a blast doing this.
Oh yeah.
It's just great. It's good to as much as we kind of play this game together. It's good to actually sit down and just kick it with the ideas and the way that we view the game. So it gives a little more insight to how we both play. So yeah, man, I had a blast. It was great.
Yeah. So yeah, I indeed did very much. I really enjoyed this too. I think this one's much better than our last one, to be honest, because we had more things to say about it. And although I had to improv a bit with this one and get a bit more creative with it, I really like this one a lot more. I think we had more funnier things to say, and I think it was just better in general. So yeah, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you. Yeah, when you're the owner of the podcast, you can improvise and do whatever the heck you want to do.
Yeah, that's what's cool about it. But yeah, guys, without taking up too much more of your time, that was our thoughts on Borderlands 2 and our second set of thoughts, actually, on Borderlands 2. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. So, yeah, guys, I'm Rob, or RoberOnocle, whatever you want to call me, and this was my dad who came on here. Thank you for coming on again.
Oh, yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. One else is the Rob father.
Oh, yeah, because, yeah, you're... Okay, because you're my dad. Get it. But yeah, guys, we will see you next time. See ya.
Later.